let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Come on and shout it. I talk, you talk, we talk. Women talk life, it ain't no surprise. Baby, you could see if you would open up your eyes. You won't understand if you can't open up your mind. So let's stop wasting time when women talk live.
And welcome to another episode of Women's Talk Live. I'm your girl, April J.
I'm SassyScribe.
And this is Elle, Boogie. I was good on time, I think.
And fun.
Girl, if you
Always
when
a
you
fun.
look back at these shows, right, you're gonna see a 3 to 5 second delay.
Yeah, it's funny. It's hilarious. But hey, I love it. All right. So on today's show, we're going to be talking about breaking the ice from track to ice. All right. So, we're going to kind of get into the Olympics. We know this is the Winter Olympics going on in Milan. And I'll be honest, I really have not been following it, watching it. I just haven't had the time. But we're going to get into a little bit of that. But we want to do, because this is Black History Month, we want to get into some of our Black History facts. So today's first fact is on February 3rd, 1870, the 15th Amendment became law, guaranteeing that no American can be denied the right to vote. Because of race, color, and previous condition of servitude, just 22 days later, the promise came to light when Harum Roads rebels, a Mississippi minister and Civil War chaplain, took the oath of office as the first Black U.S. Senator. One observer, abolitionist Wendell Phillips, called him the 15th Amendment in flesh and blood. Although Rebel's Senate term ended in 1871, his trailblazing continued as Mississippi's Secretary of State and respected politician leader known for his calm strength and orator. So he was our first Black, even though he served a year. His term ended in a year, but he was our first Black U.S. Senator.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right now.
Love it. All right.
Me too.
Yeah, our second fact is about Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman is best known as the fearless conductor of the Underground Railroad. But Minty, as her loved ones called her, also served as a Civil War spy and military leader. She was recruited by abolitionist Massachusetts officials. She used her deep knowledge of the southern terrain and a network of formerly enslaved informants to guide Union scouting missions. On June 2nd, 1863, Tubman planned and helped lead the Combahee Ferry raid in South Carolina, where she and about 150 Black Union soldiers liberated more than 700 enslaved people, making her the first woman in U.S. history to lead an armed military operation. Many of those freed later joined the Union Army themselves, and Tubman's wartime courage further cemented her legacy as the Moses of her people.
Moses left a lot of people.
Bad.
She was bad. She was bad.
She was something.
You know when you look at Harriet Tubman, she is what all Black women, we don't fear a white man's wrath. Like I wish a motherfucker. We got that whole demeanor, and that was Harriet Tubman.
It was.
She was like, I ain't afraid of them.
Yes. Yeah, and she was a spy.
She led.
They said she led a Union army. I was just like, wow. I was like, okay, she was
fierce though.
She was.
But you know what? I guess in that time, she had to be. She
Yeah.
had to be fierce and
Right.
unafraid.
Right. Yep.
I
Yep.
love it. I love it.
All right. So this came from KL Boogie. In 1936 Berlin Olympics, under Adolf Hitler, this event saw the exclusion of Jewish athletes from the German team and was used to propagate Nazi ideology. Ideology. Oh gosh, I like
Ideology.
Ideology.
ideology. Oh my god, you
Ideology.
have those days. I'm still finishing my coffee. All right. At the 1936 Berlin Olympics, African American athlete Jesse Owens directly challenged Hitler's Unruh supremacy ideology by winning 4 gold medals. Owens' victory in the 100 meter, 200 meter, 4 by 100, 4 times 100 meter relay, long jump were a direct public rebuke to the Nazi narrative of racial superiority. Owens noted in his biography that it was not Hitler who snubbed him, but rather a U.S. president, which was Franklin D. Roosevelt, who did not invite him to the White House or send a congratulatory message. Owens, the grandson of a slave, became the most successful athlete in 1936 games, turning the Berlin Olympics into a moment of international anti-Nazi significance.
So that was
Now the
the
funny part is he
that
wore
was him
that.
holding it.
That was Tommy up with Tommy Owens and forget the other person who did the hand raising.
Yeah.
But given what Jesse Owens did against the Nazis and we're at war with the Nazis, you would think that Roosevelt would have given him so much more a credit and congratulatory
Accolades.
significance. Thank you, that's the word, accolades. And that just shows the depth and breadth of racism in America. Like
It's
Jesse Owens took it on his back. He disclosed or disavowed everything that Hitler was trying to do, became the greatest athlete of the Olympics. And because he's a black man, you couldn't stand it enough to give him his props. And
but
we're
we
still in that
see
mindset
we're
today.
still in that mindset today. I mean, let's just face facts. This country has racism woven into the fabric of this whole
Yeah.
country. We were
We
never,
taking down monuments.
yes.
We not
They
teaching
can
the
tear
real truth.
they can tear all that shit down. We know the truth as a community, as a people. We know the truth.
But it's got to be
And
told. It's got to be put out there so people can regurgitate that information because that's how stuff gets lost. Once you take people's information, the written word that gets passed down, then it's the griots that have to tell the stories. But those stories change, and you don't have the significance of the actual artifacts that come with that stuff. And so, with him taking that, it's still chipping away at the fabric of the historical significance and contributions of Black people.
that's true.
And that is the issue because we know our truth, but everybody else has to see it. Like we were talking earlier about, Ruby Bridges and how people are fighting against the history of Ruby Bridges because those kind little grandmothers that are baking cookies don't want their kids to know that they was also outside spitting and yelling at a little girl trying to go to school, or they were having picnics underneath hanging black swinging men. And we could go to the
Men,
real
women, and
reason for
children.
the work. Yes, and women and children. We could go back and talk about the whole reason and the name of a picnic and what that is, because it's not the happy little gathering with hot dogs and hamburgers in the park that we associate it with today. So I'm gonna step off my
Yeah,
soapbox
but
and I'm gonna get
Hey,
back to
one thing,
April.
one thing I
hey,
can
we
say,
love it.
yeah, one thing I can say about this time that we live in, you cannot hide anything, especially with social media. Everything is on social media. The truth is a lot of the truth. I mean, some of the truth because you have some stuff that is bullshit, but a lot of the truth, as far as history and learning things, is on social media. So the fact that you're saying, "Oh, I don't want my grandchildren to know I threw rocks at black little girls," I'm sorry, boo boo, but it's going to be out there. And the fact that now you're saying that you don't want them to know, they gonna know. So
And,
it's like,
let's think about this. Ruby Bridges is only, what, 72, 73,
mm,
72 or 73 years old. She is still living in this time where she remembers it. What is her? I would love, because I remember we had Eddie Green, who was one of the original Little Rock Nine, speak at our church. And his whole, just him being there, girl, it gave me chills. But the fact that this man lived through this shit as a little boy, he said, and they were calling us and they were spitting on us. They was throwing dirt. They were throwing rocks. You can't imagine the level of distrust I grew up with amongst white people. I don't
mhm.
trust them. I don't believe them. And he said, and even now at this age, I still, as the kids would say, do a little side eye because I know who they are at their core
Right.
And what they capable of.
and what
That's
they're
my thing.
capable of.
Mhm.
I can't
That
trust.
they're led so much by their hatred of people that don't look like them that it is the driving force as to the reason why we are exactly where we are right now. Again, I'm gonna say this, people, y'all listen every week. I'm gonna say it again. Obama broke their brains, and this is the course correction.
You know, it was
Mm.
interesting. If racism hasn't been really brought to the forefront, definitely the events that have been going on lately has actually brought that. But one thing I remember seeing, or maybe a comedian said this, I can't remember, but they said um, last year during the Super Bowl, um, everything that what's the
Kendrick Lamar,
Kendrick Lamar said in English, you still didn't understand. And then, but now you're talking about Bad
Bad Bunny.
Bunny for for something you still didn't understand. And a lot of his stuff was like Kendrick Lamar. It was symbolized that even if you didn't speak Spanish, you knew what he was saying. And even like Kendrick Lamar, his was in English, but it was a lot of symbolisms. And if you really understood history, you knew what he was trying to say. But yeah,
All right, I'm gonna have to be the odd woman out on this, and I know we air in Florida, where there are a large Spanish population, but I didn't get the Bad Bunny Super Bowl um performance. It
I
totally went
did.
over my head. Like
no,
It
I
was it was
completely
he
got it.
was
this,
he was he was he was explaining his Latino roots,
Hmm.
and he brought in all of these other Latino countries that are represented here in the United States.
Exactly, exactly.
And
Like,
that's what all of those flags meant. That's what all of those people meant. The symbolism, that was an actual real marriage. I
yeah,
understand the symbolism of him giving his Grammy to the little boy that's still in the detention center in
detained by
Texas.
ICE. Hmm.
Liam, little Liam.
okay, yeah, now
So
that part I did get.
Right,
that
or
was
even
all of the symbolism. The old lady is a matriarch in New York within the Latino community that
yeah,
was
she
there. It
has
was a
the
lot.
one last, like in her neighborhood is gentrified, and they've been wanting
Yes.
to try to take this woman's store, and she's like a stalemate in that community.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like Brooklyn
Okay.
community, and he showed how she was a staple there. She was history there, and they've tried to take this woman. She owns the building. It's a building that's worth a lot of money. And she's like, no, I'm not selling my building. I'm not selling my business. And even towards the end where you see them on the light poles, that represents that Puerto Rico is part of the US, but they still have problems with their electric grid. Why
Okay.
is that a problem? Like, you're part of the US. So, I mean, it was a lot of, even with Ricky Martin coming on and talking
Yep.
about Hawaii and them not doing, don't want to see what was done to Hawaii done to Puerto Rico. They want their independence, and then
It's they colonize every country. and then get mad when you don't conform to the colonization.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, the
Exactly.
Puerto Rico, yes, it is a part of the United States, but it has a history and a culture that is indicative of the Latin culture. Not only
Right.
Puerto Rico, but other countries of
Yeah.
other individuals that moved here. They
Yeah.
only, I saw, and this is their real fear. They said in 2025, and I think I posted this, or I seen somebody post it, but I want to read this real quick before we get into the show. But somebody had said, that for the first time, white births have been outpaced
Oh, that's
by
why Trump doing that whole giving money to people that have kids. I've been
right.
said that they have what's
Yeah,
called the birth dearth. They've had that for the past 10 years, where they haven't been able to reproduce as much as
but
other races
but with
have.
these, this is again, this is where the Heritage Foundation and Turning Point USA and all of these people, then they accuse the Democrats of trying to
Hmm.
indoctrinate their children when they're the ones trying to indoctrinate them into this white Christian nationalist mindset. But what
Right.
they forget is that their children are on the fucking internet and
Right.
and
Exactly.
Snapchat, and they
Yeah.
see their friends being dragged in the streets, and it's not right. It's the
Hmm.
same visceral reaction their children had towards seeing George Floyd get killed, like looking at their parents like, "What the fuck, Dad? Like,
Yeah.
why is this happening?"
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. That's why I
And
said you
there's
can't hide from social media.
you can't,
You
and
can't.
they see that, so they're having these hard conversations. I would really love to be a fly on the wall, and we saw it happen in real time with what's the ladies, what's the white lady that was with Trump,
Megan
Kelly,
Kelly.
not Megan Kelly, the other one whose husband was George Conway, Kelly Conway.
Kelly Conway.
Oh, okay.
Her daughter went on Snapchat and TikTok and put their dirty laundries out in the street, saying, "My mom is just doing this for money. My parents don't sleep together. They don't like each
Oh.
other." She put all their shit
Yeah, I
out in
remember
the
Wow.
that.
street.
Oh
I
So
remember
wow.
you
that.
you forget that these kids, they will do it now. A black child probably would have got two piece and never
Yeah.
even thought about it.
Yeah, for real.
But a lot of these senators' grandkids and
Mhm.
nephews and nieces, they was putting their business out in the street, talking about the other families that they had and everything. But because they're in with Meta and Palantir and all of this stuff, they were able to suppress that. But those kids are relentless. You can't hide the facts.
You
And
can't.
and as much as they're trying to put Turning Point USA into schools to make them like an honors club within the school, they're gonna have an
What?
issue. Yeah, they're trying to make chapters of Turning Point USA into high schools. I think
But
they were
you
trying to
you
do middle
scared of?
school, right? But
But you
here's the
talk about
thing,
critical race theory.
right? But here's the thing: the children that are joining are mocking them for their whatchamacallit. So when they said, like, this one teacher said that not Malcolm X, Martin Luther King was a Marxist, and the lady said that one of the male students, a little cocky little white boy, he said, "Do you even understand what you're saying? Can you explain to me why he's a Marxist?" And she had no comeback. He said, "Yeah, exactly. You're just spouting talking points from Fox News without even understanding." He said, "I'm gonna give you what he did. As Martin Luther King fought for civil rights, is the reason why you as a woman are allowed to stand here and teach us."
Hmm.
Boom.
Mm.
Shut up.
Yeah. Right.
So,
Right. Love
I'm
it.
sorry, we got off
All right.
topic,
Yeah.
but
Let's get
I
into
love to
our
see these
show.
kids do this.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know.
Okay.
I do too.
Okay.
All right.
All
So
right.
let's get into our today's show.
Yes. Okay.
Oh.
So we're breaking the ice from track to ice, and it's happening at the 2026 Winter Olympics. So if you guys don't know, I'm a huge Olympic nerd. I watch the Olympics. I live for the opening ceremonies and all of that stuff, and them lighting the torch. But it's happening in Milan and Cortina, which both are in Italy. Of course, you know Milan, which made me say, when it's February in the United States, it's wintertime in Italy. Note to self, don't go in the wintertime. So but it's like it's happening right now, and the history that's being made is that it's breaking these barriers, that we've had the first black woman from the US win an Olympic gold for, I believe it was the 800 meter speed skating. I
Mhm.
believe that's what it was for. Could have been 1,000, could have been 1,500,
Mhm.
but she won that. And 2026, this is the first time that we've had a black Olympian on the speed skating team, and that they actually won a gold. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to
I
talk
think
about
I
that.
saw her on the Today Show, and they were
I think her
talking
name
to
is
her.
Erica. What is her name?
Yeah,
Erica.
she was on the Today Show, and she was talking. And this was before she did her race, and they were talking to her, and she was, like just saying how it was an honor to actually represent the U.S.
Yeah.
And even as an African American. But I remember seeing her on the Today Show. I didn't get to see her race, but
Well, I saw her. I saw her preliminary, and I
mhm,
actually missed the actual race. So I had to go back and watch the replay. But
mhm,
she was like I was telling y'all off camera that it's like when she came around that last stretch, her and the girl were like neck and neck, and I just like the rhythm and the movement and the motion of speed skating because they had that arm swinging, sort of like when I see my mom in the singing and praying band.
mhm,
And it's almost like the ancestors. I'm serious because if you've never seen a singing and praying band, it's a beautiful sight. That's all I got to say.
mhm.
But it's like when she came around that corner, you could see it's like the ancestors told her, like, all right now, get low and get going. And she got low. You seen her like bend over even more. And
Mhm.
that arm started swinging and she rode right past that girl. I was in here like it was my niece. Like, like I'm always rooting
Oh,
for everybody black.
Erin Jack.
Always.
Her name is
I
Erin
could watch the
Jackson.
Family Feud. I'm voting for the black family.
Yeah, her name is Erin Jackson. I should
Aaron
remember that
Jackson.
because my little cousin, her name is Erin
It's Aaron
Jackson.
Jackson.
So,
No,
but yeah,
but she was a softball player and didn't
mhm,
make the Olympic teams. So when we say track to ice, we're looking at all of the summer sports, which are the track sports, that includes like softball and things that lead up to you getting on an Olympic team. So you've had a lot of track stars
mhm,
transition from being track stars to being on the ice. And people was like, as KL said, off camera, that you can't transition from one to the other.
right.
That's not allowed. But if you think about the skill set required for these winter sports, you
Right.
need the strength that these track stars have in their thighs and the
Mhm.
precision that they have. So there's two sports that they're really beginning to dominate in. One of them is bobsled. Now I love the bobsled. I love it. Think it's
Yeah,
kind
I
of,
like when they had that Jamaican team. I
yeah,
do
the
remember
Jamaican
seeing
bobsled
that one.
team.
Yeah, yeah,
That
I
if,
do
if
remember
if you
seeing that
remember
one.
if you remember the movie Cool Runnings, that's when it started.
Right,
That's
right.
based off of that Jamaican bobsled team. So if you look at that, why would people in Jamaica be in a bobsled? Because it's like a country where I don't believe there's any snow there. They never get any
Yes.
snow.
No.
But it's the bobsled, and then there's this other sport that's called skeleton. Now, if you don't
Mhm.
know anything about skeleton, where the bobsled, you're literally in a covered sled, and you gotta like kind of like guide the sled.
Mhm.
The skeleton is where you are laying face down on just a slab, like just a sled, and you're going down the luge chute.
Mhm.
And the only way you can steer it is with like very slight movements of your head at 80 miles an hour.
Wow.
And we are beginning to take that over. So they said the reason why is that because a bobsled can weigh up to 1,300 pounds, to get it moving from nothing, you need the same speed that track stars need when they're within their muscles as a sprinter, so that they
Mhm.
can get out of the gate and go down the chute. Again, these bobsleds are traveling like 80, 90, 100 miles an hour down these
That's
down these
insane.
what you call.
Yeah,
It's insane, but I love
it
it.
is
I
insane.
love it.
It is insane. I
I
mean,
love it.
I was I think the one young lady who tore her ACL.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, Lindsey Vaughn.
yeah, Lindsey Vaughn,
Yes.
and and actually when she wanted to get it out, I was like, I don't know about that one. A torn
I
ACL.
listen.
I really
She
didn't know
didn't
about
sound
that
Especially
one.
out of
confident.
practice.
She
But
did not sound confident in her press conference. I
yeah,
was saying, please don't do it.
yeah, I was like, okay, I get it. I understand why she is very competitive. Hey,
Mhm.
listen, I hope she had, was able to do it, but then she, it made it worse. And
Mhm.
one thing I remember her father, I don't know, I saw it on the Today Show, but he was saying that she was not getting back on the skates. She was not getting back on the slopes. That was it. It was done. If he had anything to say about it, I said that's a father. But um, I think what I found very, and just being a woman in general,
Mhm.
just being a woman, was that the fact that the president called her a loser. And I thought to myself, this woman is no way a loser. She's an athlete. She
He's a
She's
fucking
in a wait
loser.
a minute. She's a gold
gold
medalist
medal.
Olympian,
Yes, she
and
is.
he's calling her a
And
loser.
he was calling her a loser. And I'm like, really, sir? Like, really? You're calling this woman a loser? The fact that she got on back on the slopes
At
with a
41.
torn ACL at 41, and you can't even hold a bowel movement and need a diaper, but you gonna call her a loser?
There
Really?
we go.
Really?
But you know what? This president, this
I don't even
regime,
call him that.
he's
This
not.
conniver and
The conniver, the rapist, the pedophile in
pedophile.
chief is clearly has a dislike, a loathing, and disgust for women. And his entire cabinet has the same loathing and dislike, including the women
Mm-hmm.
that have been indoctrinated into that mindset that
Right.
they are superior,
Right.
including the women that are talking about this whole save act that they're trying to do to get women out of the workforce. Bitch, you're the press secretary, you're the attorney general. Go sit your fucking ass in the house
Yeah.
and shit out
Yeah.
baby after
Exactly.
baby.
Exactly. Exactly. And
And you're
even
gonna tell other women that that's what they need to do when your
right.
ass has a career?
And it's so
Fuck
interesting
out of
because you
here.
have these athletes that are representing the United States.
Yes.
And one thing that I saw that really kind of really got me was that during the opening ceremony, they're all coming in, they're announcing the United States, and JD Vance and his, Indian wife,
Usha.
Usha, whoever
Usha
her name, right,
Wanda. Her
whoever.
name is Wanda
Soon as they
something.
showed them on the big screen, there was nothing but boos. And
Mhm.
at that moment, where it was supposed to be a moment for our athletes, they each was talking about how embarrassed they were.
Mhm.
And I felt for them because I'm like, you're representing the US. You have nothing to do with the bullshit that's going on. And the fact that as soon as you see one of the representatives for this country, they're booed. And each of them have even spoken out to being grateful of representing the United States, but not agreeing with everything that has been going on.
And as an American citizen with the First Amendment right, they have the right to feel that. So they don't want anybody speaking out about this. I don't care, black, white, yellow, or green. If you are a United States citizen, you can say what the fuck you want to say. As
Exactly.
Billy Porter said, fuck.
Right, right.
Yo, I
So,
love that.
yeah, so it's
I love
interesting.
that.
It's interesting. I will be interested in seeing who actually gets invited to the White House and who actually decides to go after
Well,
all of this is
it's a
over.
lot going on. So if you
Well,
look
think
at
of the
what the
governors. Think of the convention of governors when they he told our
disinvited.
governor Westmore that he wasn't invited because he wasn't worthy.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. He also disinvited the only gay governor, the governor of Colorado, as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
But
going to get,
Moore got more coverage because Moore is more well known.
and
Because
he's the only
he's
African
the only
American
black governor. Here
governor.
again, another fucking first, y'all. It's 2026. It's
Hmm.
another first.
Yep.
This is the only black governor. And when I go on these different apps, I'm sorry, y'all, real quick, I gotta say this, but I go on like these different apps where you can monitor stuff that's going on in your neighborhood. And listening to the people talk about how bad he's doing this state, like you what? What? Between him and Brandon Scott, the crime rate has gone down in this state alone.
Mm-hmm.
In this state alone. So anyway, let's get back to this. So we want to talk about there's a girl by the name of Keisha Love. She ran track for UNLV. That's the University of Nevada at Las Vegas. If you don't know, it's a very prominent school, right? And she said that she described her transition. And that she's in the bobsled. She went from the brake woman to the pilot. She said she became the quarterback of the ice. She once led relay teams, and now she leads the sled. So that is the transition.
Wow.
And she said she used mental reps and visualization skills that she learned in gymnastics and track to navigate the Cortina bobsled track.
Wow.
So just think about that. Like, not only is she doing it, we have so many other people. So we have Elena Myers Taylor. She's competing in her fifth Winter Olympics, and she remains the ultimate proof. She is a former softball star who pivoted from bobsled because, again, we said earlier, she missed the softball cut. So she's now the most decorated Black athlete in Winter Olympics history.
Wow.
They're calling her a veteran for 2026.
Nice.
Then there is Daryl Payne Jr. He is the first African-American man to represent Team USA in the Olympic skeleton. Again, skeleton is face down on a sled, 900 miles an hour down the chute.
Wow.
And he's from Baylor. He was a Baylor University sprinter. Now, isn't Baylor like out in Mormon country? Baylor
I
University.
believe so.
Is that
I believe
in
it's
country
in
or Texas?
Midwest. I think it's Midwest somewhere, I think.
Yeah. Maybe it's Texas.
What, Baylor
They-
University?
Yeah. Is it in Texas or Utah?
Let's see.
I think it's somewhere in Midwest, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So again, we go back to Keisha Love. Again, she was a UNLV track star, and she is
Waco,
the reigning.
Texas.
Okay.
Waco,
She-
Texas.
Okay.
Sorry.
She's the reigning monobob world champion. So that's the single person in a bobsled. And they said she's the first Black woman to hold that title and is a gold medal favorite right now. Then we
Wow.
have Brian Sosu. He's a Ghanaian American. He's a former track star from Monmouth University, and he's making his Olympic debut in the four-man bobsled. He switched from track to ice 2 years ago, y'all. 2 years ago, and he done made the Olympic team. We,
Wow.
as a people, can do whatever the fuck we want to do. Like, what?
All day
Absolutely.
long.
Then there is they're calling Jaden O'Brien the overnight sensation. She was a 10-time NCAA All-American in track who had never even been on a bobsled until, wait a minute, August of 2025. Where's she at now? She's completing on the world's biggest stage.
Wow.
Wow.
Nice.
And the last one that we're going to talk about is Azaria Hill. I like that name. Azaria Hill. She's carrying the track royalty torch as the daughter of Olympic track medalists. She's now one of the top athletes in the two-woman event. So what they're saying is we need to stop calling these winter sports and start calling them para sports. When you see someone like Daryl Payne or Keisha Love on the ice, you aren't looking at a skier. You're looking at a world-class sprinter who just so happens to be on a different surface. So the future of Black history and the Winter Olympics isn't about learning to skate. It's about realizing that our speed translates to every season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it does, honey.
Nice. Very nice.
And that's why I love being up,
Okay.
yo. I love it.
Clock
I wouldn't
it.
change it.
Very nice.
But it was unexpected. You don't expect us to be able to do everything. I'm surprised we're not in snowboarding, but that's going to be next. I'm surprised we're not in downhill skiing and the slaloms and whatnot, and cross country.
Oh, I
But
think it's
those are
coming.
all we
Because we never
even
know
have
who's
Black.
out there practicing or, on the slopes. We don't know.
Listen, I was shocked when I went to my first hockey game and seen a Black person on the. I was like, "That's a Black person out there!" Like what? Like,
Yeah, there's one Black guy. He's from Canada. He's a Black, and he used to be a former hockey skater. Now he's a commentator, and he talks about being on the ice, being the only Black person on the ice on a Canadian team. So
I mean, we got to look at what the other thing that just happened. So remember, I think it was in the 1996 Olympics when Miss Bonalay did that backflip on the ice that they banned, and
Oh,
now you
Surya
have
Bonalay. I remember that. I watched her all the
yes,
time.
girl, she was phenomenal. And then now they banned her from doing it. She fucking did it anyway and killed it. And they
Hmm.
took points off of that. So now the white
Yep.
dude, he does it. And oh, that's phenomenal. Bitch, she invented it. Just like
Yeah,
Simone Biles invented all of these things that they tried to ban
yeah,
because they couldn't do them
they couldn't do them. So yeah,
Yep.
that's the best way of trying to defeat.
to
Yeah,
defeat us.
yeah,
We can't be defeated. We did this shit for 400 years. 400 years.
absolutely.
Four. And
Yep.
y'all still fucked it up with a 400-year head start.
Well, he did mess up, and did not get the gold. I do remember that. So
Yeah. What did they say? They said when we talk about the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show, they said they called the Kid Rock halftime show Kid Rock of Bethlehem. I fell out. And wait a minute, real quick. So this is funny. Candace Owens is coming out saying that they taped the Kid Rock show 2 weeks before. They only had like 180 people in attendance, and they paid each person $250, which explains why it wasn't streamed live. I
wow.
said, you know what? I don't like her, but I believe her
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she's in the know. I believe
She
her.
is. She is. Yeah. All right. So let's get into last week's poll, which was which version of love feels more real to you at this stage in your life? Over 40, 50s, whatever. So, 85% of adults who are 45 plus say that true love stands the test of time. 85% of adults. So, I don't know.
Okay.
Who knows?
I think that this season in my life is more or less of peace and companionship
Hmm.
is really and truly what I need. I
Yeah,
need you to show up when you say you're going to show up.
right. Exactly. All right. And 80% of adults who are over 45 believe that the best relationships start at friendships. I can agree with that. I
I
can
believe
definitely agree
that.
with that. Yep. And 62% of adults who are over 45 say love at first sight is real. I don't
I
know about
believe that
that one.
too.
I don't know about that one, but okay.
Yeah, I don't
I,
know
I,
about
Never,
that one.
I
never
believe
experienced that.
I believe that love at first sight happens if you allow it to happen. If you don't believe that it can happen, I don't think it will. I
I
don't I don't
think
think
you
it will.
have,
Like,
when I think of love at first sight, I think of you have an instant attraction to someone. I think love is something that has to be cultivated
bro,
and grow over time. I
Yeah.
think that that instant connection you have with somebody, like you see somebody and it's just like
lust at first
you
sight.
know this person. Yeah, like you drawn to this person.
Mhm.
Like you're like magnets.
Yeah.
Like your
Yeah.
energy
Now
draws
I
you to
do
this
agree
person. I
with
think
the I
that
do agree with the connection. You can meet somebody and you have that instant connection. And I think as you build a friendship, that friendship can turn into a love.
yes.
Um, but yeah, that's
But love is like people don't understand what love is about. Love is, you sacrifice for love. You give up, you compromise for love. And a lot of people don't do that with people that they say they love. I think love is really, it's not just that warm fuzzy. It's, what happens in times of trials and tribulations that keep you guys together with regard to how that love fares out. It's not superficial. I think people are in deep like with some people. They care a lot about some people, but I know love, having had kids, is a lot different than, the love I feel for my friends because I would lay down my life for my children. And I got really close friends that I would have to, I wouldn't be able to say the same thing for.
yeah. All right. So this week's poll is: are you surprised that we are still experiencing firsts in 2026? So that's our poll. That's our
Nope, because
this
we
week's poll.
still got racism in 2026. We still got ignorant ass people in 2026 that are still trying to take away rights. And I gotta say
Mhm.
this: there was a thing on Facebook where was it? What's the one with the reels? Is that
Both of them now.
Instagram?
All of them have reels.
Facebook owns Instagram, but all of them have reels now. Even the TikTok, they're still reels. The Snapchats, they're
It
reels.
could
They
be
just call them
TikTok.
snaps, TikToks. But yeah,
But they were talking about, you know how white people call black people gorillas. And I'm not saying when I say white and black, I'm not talking about everybody. So don't start sending us a bunch of hate mail. I'm talking about
hmm
those that it applies to. But I had to give some thought to that because my grandfather was a big black man with these big, strong hands and knotted knuckles from having worked his whole life. But never once did he have the capacity to have hair all over his body like gorillas do. He never had lice and animals that grow in his hair like other people do. And so I think that they are more inclined to be the gorilla aspect species than he was. And it just made me think of how the narrative of who we are is pushed upon us and propagated so much that it's just, if you put up a mirror, everything you're saying is like, I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. Like everything
I haven't heard that in a long
that's
time.
negative about us really is what you embody.
hmm
So I think self-reflection for a lot of people would be really helpful to understand that the things that you say you hate about us, you hate us
Are
because
the
you
things that
can't be.
there it is. You hate us because you ain't us.
Yeah. You know what we're capable of. That's why you try to hold us down at every turn in terms of miseducation, in terms of being able to have jobs and live freely. You want us to live, under fear so that we can't grow as people. That same fear that you put in women when you would, have a bunch of pregnant women watch as you slit the belly of one pregnant woman for that
Mm.
fear to go through them and into the baby. Like
Woo.
you want us to feel that way so we don't achieve the destiny and the heights that we are innately embodied with. And so to that I say, I love showing up. The reason that they're first is because as soon as you let us in the door, we kick down the door, the walls, we blow out the windows. It's a new house.
And
We done
build a
built it from
new
the ground up.
motherfucking table.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
by all
So
means, but
And
by
build
all
a
means,
new motherfucking table. I'm telling
right.
you.
But by
I
all
love the
means,
skin I'm in.
continue to get your tans and your BBLs to look like us. All right.
Yes. And your
Yes,
lip
honey.
injections and these cheekbones. You see
Yeah,
this?
all
You're
right,
getting
all of that.
injections
Don't
there.
forget the perms for
Continue.
the curly hair. Don't forget the perms for the curly hair.
Yeah, so yeah, continue to by all means continue to do all that.
Yes.
All right.
And we understand because the melanin is gorgeous. Mwah.
Yes. All right. So
I love it.
our final thought for today. Be careful about reading health books because there's a possibility that one day you'll die of a misprint.
Oh my God.
And that's our final thought.
You think about that
Yo,
though,
you
right?
be
It
killing it
is
with these
garbage
damn
in,
facts.
garbage out. It's like whatever people put in it,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly.
That's good because that'll be me. Because I'll be looking up home remedies in a heartbeat. Like, what happens when I do this?
Now, a lot of home remedies I know came from my grandparents and my mother, and they work. So,
Hey,
And
but
they
hey,
would.
listen,
Thank you. I was
when
getting ready
my
to say, don't
nephew,
disavow no
I
home
remember,
remedies.
I remember years ago, I'm gonna say this and we're gonna hang up. My nephew, when he was a baby, had a fever. My mother took onions and sliced these
I
onions
know
up,
what you're about to say.
she put them on his chest, and then she sliced potatoes up and wrapped his feet up, and
Mm,
that fever broke. Just
yes,
like I'm sitting there looking like, what
yes,
slave,
yes,
Negro,
yes.
spiritual, like I'm like,
My
what?
grandmother used to do that for us.
Immediately,
Yes, my
immediately.
grandmother did
That
Yeah,
that for
one
us.
thing about
that
home remedies, you ain't got to worry about dying. You ain't got to worry
nope,
about it messing up another
nope,
aspect. You don't have to have all
nope.
them disclaimers about if you want better eyesight, take this. But you might have liver disease, kidney disease. You might shit your pants. Like that
Your
whole.
throat might
We
close
never
up
had
and
that
all
with
this other
home
stuff.
remedies.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Never
All of that.
ever.
All of
that's
that.
true.
All right,
Okay,
y'all.
ladies.
We will see y'all next week.
Next week.
Next week we're gonna talk about is it 100 years
100 years of Black
of
history,
Black
y'all.
history. So you don't want to miss
100
that.
years.
Don't want to miss that. All right, y'all. This is Women's Talk Live Overnights with your girl, April J.
I'm your girl, Sassy Scribe.
And this is KL Boogie.
All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Bye.
Women talk.